In BTD6, there are 4 different map difficulties: beginner, intermediate, advanced, and expert. A few years after the game was released, Ninja Kiwi created the map editor, which allows you to create whatever kind of map you wish. Now, a small but very dedicated group of players decided to strive for the hardest maps physically possible in BTD6. These maps are so difficult that only a handful of players have ever beaten chimps on them. And I decided to release a poll a few weeks ago asking you all what map I should try to do a late game challenge on. Now, the map that won was obviously one of the best looking maps out of the entire bunch. This map is so difficult, it is ranked as the 6th hardest map ever created in BTD6. It has only 11 chimps runs completed on maplist. This, ladies and gentlemen, is Twisted Nightmare. How do you beat a map like Twisted Nightmare? It has 5 tracks, all of which are very short, and a lot of line of sight blockers. There are so many line of sight blockers on this map, as represented by the branches and the hands, that this map is actually split up into 2 sections. The left hand side of the map, which 2 tracks go around the loop here, and the right hand side of the map, where 1 track goes under the skull, 1 track goes to the right of the skull, and 1 track goes above the skull. On top of all this, there is 0 water on the map, so submarines and boats are not going to be happening unless I get a lot of the Abyss, which is an expensive purchase for just some boats. And on top of that, there is 0 space for banana farms. Not a single banana farm can be bought and put on this map. There is simply not enough space. There are 2 spots on the map that might be able to host a banana farm, here and here, but after a few minutes of not getting the correct placement, I decided to continue anyway. You may be a little bit confused with my build order here. First I put down 2 dart monkeys and a druid, and then a sniper and then a zealy. Obviously I'm putting down a zealy here so that she can help out with pops, but I'm also putting down the druid and the sniper monkey because that's where I'm going to be placing my spirit of the forest and elite sniper. They're going to be my money making towers, and I put them in those positions specifically so that I wouldn't have to buy and resell them and lose money, because cash is going to be tight this challenge. I have barely any space on the map to even place defensive towers, let alone farms. Money is not going to be very plentiful. In fact, money is one of the 2 things that is going to be the hardest about this run. The second one is obviously going to be bad balloons. Since they can't be slowed or stalled, I have to pop them within the time that they're on the tracks. And half of the time, I can't actually hit them because the line of sight blockers make them impossible to hit. So I have maybe 3 to 10 seconds to be able to pop the bads fully before they leak, and then I have to redo the round over. I am allowing continues in this run, mostly because if I didn't allow continues, I would have to restart over and over and over and over and over again, and that would not be fun. Because, spoiler alert, I do in fact die before reaching round 140, because I wasn't paying attention, I was too busy binging Ryan Mahalik. The reason I didn't go for some insane number like 200 or 250 on this map is because that is nowhere close to feasible. I mean, maybe if I had an insane amount of money to start off with, or if I farmed like crazy, maybe I could afford Paragons and let it happen, but until I get peer pressured into doing this again, with infinite cash, there is 0 chance I'm making it to round 200. Zilch. Nada. These bads are too strong and too fast. Normally I would say round 200 is easy peasy, how do you not get there? But this is one of the hardest maps ever created in the entire history of Bloons Tower Defense as a franchise. So I kind of have to be reasonable here. 140 doesn't seem very good, but I guess I'm just too used to getting ridiculously high rounds like 300 and 400. If I sound dead inside, it's because doing this challenge made me dead inside. I never want to do something like this again. Unless it's on Ice on Trinity. I really want to play that map actually, it looks super cool. I decided to get Heart of Thunder on my Jordan. Whoa, 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 what? What is that? Why does the lightning look different than it did before? Huh, when was that a thing? It changed! The lightning's blue now instead of purple. Ninja Kiwi, you gotta tell us this stuff, but What? Huh? It's not like lightning at all. It's just bouncing from balloon to balloon. What? Let me see that again. What? It's just like an arc. It doesn't care about blockage. What the heck? What is this? Why did you change it? I mean, it's good, but at what cost? I liked the purple. I didn't actually know that the lighting had changed color until I was editing this video. That was crazy. That's crazy. It looks so much more different. This is gonna sound scripted. It is not scripted. That is crazy. What? Huh? That looks like actual lightning. Make it yellow. Ninja Kiwi, make it yellow. I want it done. Alright, everybody, spam hashtag make druid lightning yellow in BTD6, otherwise I'll be sad forever and cry myself to sleep at night. I want the lightning to be yellow, just like in real life. For what? You know what? One day, Ninja Kiwi developers, I know you're watching my videos. I want you to make druid lightning yellow. Please, please, that would look so awesome. Stupid irrelevant side tangent over. The round 40 Moab took me a few tries until I realized that placing down Superman and using Azili's sacrificial totem is easily peasily going to just destroy the Moab, and I didn't even lose any lives, which is nice. Unless you count the sacrificial totem. But I didn't leak any balloons. Now we enter the horrifying world of free play. From round 80 onwards, balloons get faster and stronger. But on the bright side, I have a Druid of the Junk now, earning me thousands of cents of cash. Yeah, the Druid ability isn't that strong when there's only one of them. But you know what is stronger by itself when there's only one of them? That's right, supply drop. I now have 2 farming towers. This is huge. Once I get down my elite sniper for the left side of the map, and my Spirit of the Forest for the right side of the map, I'm going to be A-okay until round 100. I put down a wizard and a ninja on the right side of the map to help out with popping the balloons, and I decide to upgrade my dart monkey in the loop on the left side to a triple shot, so that it will be more effective at popping camos and other balloons. Because the bomb shooter can't pop camos, but the sniper does do extra damage, which is an excellent change, might I add. Genius move. In the 50s, the mobs are starting to get pretty tough, so I decide to upgrade my super monkey, and I decide to also get down a Moab Mauler on the left side of the map, just for extra Moab damage, and it's a bit of a quality of life thing. I could pop Moabs otherwise, but this is just the easiest solution. Here is round 60 and the BFB is approaching. Now the BFB is generally considered to be one of the easiest blimps to take down, because it's too slow to be deadly, and it doesn't have enough health to be deadly. However, this is Twisted Nightmare, and everything has to be a pain. I spent 5 minutes on round 60 alone before I realized that just putting down a cluster bomb to deal with the insides is going to be so much easier than some convoluted method, like using an alchemist on the super monkey, or trying to add a Moab shove. Round 60 was defeated, and now the next toughest round is going to be 63. Round 63 is notorious in BTD6 and BTD5 for having 3 rushes of very dense ceramics topped on with leads throughout the whole round. This is quite a difficult round in chimps, and is probably the most famous round before round 100. Now, this is Twisted Nightmare, and once again, everything has to be annoying. So am I going to be able to beat round 63? Spoiler alert. Yes. So it turns out having 2 cluster bombs, 2 Druids of the Jungle, and an elite sniper is more than enough to beat round 63. And yes, I did get an elite sniper, my first tier 5 of the run. Now I'm going to be earning quite a bit more money, and my next big purchase is going to be Spirit of the Forest. With all of this defense and a few money-making towers, I'm able to afford the Spirit of the Forest on round 66. However, that proves to be a little bit of a problem, so I just have to play around and defeat it normally, and so therefore I buy the Spirit of the Forest a little bit later. Having the Spirit of the Forest is a complete game changer. Instead of struggling to beat each individual round with barely anything, I can actually beat rounds by quite a large margin now. Spirit of the Forest is exceptionally good on maps like this where there's not a lot of space, because it's a global tower egg and it can hit all of the tracks. Now, as you can see here, I'm getting down a bunch of sniper monkeys so that I can farm even more, because once again, I can only really start farming in the mid-70s. Farming is going to be difficult on this map. I'm not going to have many millions of dollars like I usually do in challenges. I'm only going to have maybe a few $100,000 at a time. Okay, for all the new players in the audience, I'm about to teach you a foolproof strategy for defeating the round 80 ZOMG. Okay, first, you get to round 80. Second, you use Azili's ability. I'm so good at this game. The rest of the video was being recorded the next day. If the audio sounds different, that's why. After upgrading my Super Monkey and my Dart Monkey to a Robo Monkey and an Ultra Juggernaut, I decided to get down some more snipers and a more glaives for a future glaive lord. And as you can see, I do have a Super Monkey on the left. This is because I'm going to be getting a temple there. Yeah, you heard that right. I'm going to be purchasing a temple in this game. Not only that, I'm going to be getting two. One on the left side and one on the right. Both going to be ultra boosted, by the way. So, round 140 is looking pretty probable so far. Going into round 90, I was horrified at the DDTs. Normally in chimps, they're pretty bad, but on this map, even on easy mode, DDTs are a nightmare. For example, on my first try of round 90, one of the DDTs just walks on through. I have to exit out and retry again. And again, and oh hey, I got it. For those of you who have made it this far in the video, please consider unsubscribing. Why would you subscribe to my garbage YouTube channel? Also consider disliking and turning off notifications, because who wants to watch my videos? I mean, come on. These hundreds of likes on my past videos, fake news, incorrect, blasphemous. This is a ploy set up by YouTube to make sure that I get self-confident, and then, as soon as I get happy, boom, they're going to hit me with 6 demonetized videos in a row, and I'm going to become super sad and depressed. And by that I mean even more super sad and depressed than I usually am. Anyhow, round 100, we are facing the BAD. Now, I want to stall this guy as much as possible so that I can actually get down my sniper abilities, but here I'm trying to see if I can pop it normally. Fun fact, I cannot, because ZOMGs are Zeppelins of mighty gargantuanness, and they are too gargantuan for my Tech Terror to handle by himself. So I have to resort to using Azili's ability, but I used it a little too early for my liking here, but whatever, it's only like a few $1,000s worth of time wasted. With the round 100 BAD defeated, I am going to now focus on increasing my material wealth in Bloons Tower Defense 6. This means by getting down some more Sniper Monkeys, because their abilities are actually super useful, and they activate all at once when I use them, which is quite a nice change. Thank you, Ninja Kiwi. Now that we're entering super free play mode, I'm going to be facing rounds on this map that likely no one has ever faced before, because most people on this map either try to be easy mode for the fun of it, hard mode to get a general idea of what's going to happen in chimps mode, and chimps mode. And no sane person is going to try and do a free play challenge on this map on chimps mode. Anyway, that video is coming out next week. Moving on, these rounds are going to get harder and harder and harder. This means I have to get my defense up fast in order to hold back the vast hordes of balloons. On round 108, I decide that I finally have enough money to get the primary, magic, and support categories on my first Sun Temple on the left side. This side of the map is pretty much locked down, so I do not have to worry about that for a long while. All I have to do is get some decamo options, and the temple should be able to solo by itself. Now, the only thing I have to worry about is the right side of the map. I am going to get a temple here, but as you can see, where am I going to place it? Well, obviously I'm going to place it down here where the Super Monkey is, but unlike the left temple, it has nowhere near as much coverage of the rest of the map. On top of there being 3 paths to have to figure out, and none of them intersecting like the other two do, this is going to be quite a big disadvantage. I swap out my 020 Super Monkey on the right side for a Glue Gunner to stall the rounds, because this side, once again, is at a serious disadvantage because it doesn't have the laser spraying ancient temple. So, now begins the save up for the second temple. On round 117, I have to fight hordes of fortified DDTs. I managed to survive. I tried to get the temple on round 118, failure, so I resort to buying the anti-balloon instead. This is a temporary solution, and I'll sell the anti-balloon later. Now I have to beat up the 3 bads on round 119, easily done, thanks to Azili's ability. Now all I have to do is save up money for the sacrifices for the temple and the temple itself. However, things were looking a little bit too dicey on the left side of the map, so instead of buying a second temple, I decide to buy the Dart Paragon first, degree 23. Not too shabby, by the way. So now the left side is completely finished in setup. Almost, maybe I'll add some stalls and debuffs later. But now that I have a Paragon on the screen and a temple on the same side as it, the only thing I have to focus on now is the right side of the map, and getting that damn temple. Because this Dart Paragon is here to stay. Look at the amount of obstacles on this map. The Dart Paragon thrives here. I die on round 138. Of course I do. This round completely sucks and is annoying, so I have to use a continue. Remember, I did say I allowed continues in the beginning, and you may say, oh Brazio, that gives you an unfair advantage because now your abilities are off cooldown. No, think about this. Look at my life count. It just went down by 600. Before I could leak a Moab or a regular DDT. Now I can't leak any sort of Moab. The only thing that I might be able to leak is maybe 1 or 2 ceramics. And buying the Legend of the Night isn't worth it at this stage because it's too much money, and even though the black hole is good, using it is just not a viable strategy. Because right now, the priority is getting that Sun Temple for bad damage, because round 140 is almost here. Turns out the optimal strategy was getting down the Sun Temple and then an Icicle Impale, and yes, I did die again on this round, but we don't need to speak about that. The second after I beat round 138, I get down an Overclock. I'm going to turn this into an Ultra Boost so I can buff my temples. This is going to be important because these temples are our main bad damage, other than Azalea, of course. Everything else on this map is either slows, stalls, or buffs. Well, of course the Dart Paragon exists, but that only covers the left side of the map. And here we are, round 140. This is going to be the toughest round yet. Mostly because I forgot to use Azalea's ability on the first try. Azalea's ability I can actually use on the bad immediately, and then I'll get it back up in time for the normal bad, because the fortified bad I used the Azalea's ability on it too late, and it would have leaked here. So, and I do not trust that that is not going to leak. So I exit out, I go back in, and then I decide to use Azalea's ability early this time, and I immediately win the round on my second try. Now, with my goal of round 140 achieved, the only thing left to do is to see how far I can go. And unfortunately, even getting a second Paragon doesn't help. The Boomerang Paragon didn't actually do that much, so whatever. This is unfortunately the limit, round 154, which is further than I previously thought. That's not actually that bad. For any of you wondering, my brother decided that now is an excellent time to start whippersnipping. This is a quality outro. So, what's the highest round you can get on Twisted Nightmare? Obviously, this is not optimal. I could probably do way better if I went at it differently. Maybe if I prioritized Savatars over Sun Temples. Maybe if I gunned for Paragons instead of Sun Temples. Maybe if I tried a Dora, that would have worked. But who knows? Quality outro.